So during this time, I've been able to reflect, probably longer than more often. I'm in the Boogie Down Bronx. You can hear the ambulances right now in the middle of the coronavirus madness. And we're in the epicenter of what it is here in the United States, actually worldwide. And the Bronx happened to be the center of the epicenter. But it doesn't matter. You can mentally travel elsewhere, not just into the past, but into the future. So I will not apologize anymore for my work ethic. I will not apologize anymore for my creativity. I will not apologize anymore for my passion, my desire, my ability to put thoughts together, my ability to physically do what many people talk about, or anything else. In other words, I'm not going to apologize for my God-given gifts any longer. Now, it sounds funny, but I can honestly say I've done that. And you probably have done it too. We don't want people to feel uncomfortable, so we start pulling back on our dreams, ideas. People want to distract us, and then we start, here it is, the dogs barking and distracting. But we still got to keep our focus. You can't even make that up. So sometimes you hear noises of people saying, don't do this, you can't do that, be careful. Because they don't see it for you. Because they don't see it for themselves. You know, this is the bottom line. We are not normal people. Those who chose to become leaders, entrepreneurs, martial artists, black belts, what have you, we are the chosen people who actually have taken action, not talked about it. And most people like to talk crap about stuff they're not going to do. Recently, what I did was I had a friend of mine who wanted to write a book. And in less than a month, he wrote the book and freaking has it published, and it could be is available right now on Amazon, Kindle, and so on and so forth. What the heck was that about? Man, he doesn't even realize what he did was make me give him extra props. He said he was going to do something, and then before he finished the damn sentence, he started taking action towards it. Now, I did a lot of work with Tony Robbins back in the early 90s. Some of you guys might have read his book. Some of you guys might have actually participated in some of his audio training. But there's a big difference than being right smack in front of Tony and doing some work. 14-hour days, 14 days in Hawaii, 1992. Some of the best and the worst things that I ever did. And why did I say that? Because when I came back, I was a freaking alien. I had information into the future that most people never had a chance to acquire. So instead of me taking things to a whole other level, I felt like an alien. Because when I'm telling people, I know we got schools presently in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan, but we can have schools all over the place because we got to save the world because we have options for people. As an example, a lot of students of mine know that the student creed, I must develop myself in a positive manner and avoid anything that will reduce my mental growth and my physical health. I must develop self-discipline in order to bring out the best of myself and others. I must use what I learned in class constructively and defensively to help myself and never be abusive to my fellow beings. Winners never quit, quitters never win. I choose to be a winner, sir. Now that's my edited version of the I intend to develop myself that I learned from EFC back in 1988. Why did I change it from intend to must? Because you don't do a damn thing until it becomes a must. Now this became part of the culture, part of the mindset, part of the winning attitude. Winners never quit, quitters never win. I choose to be a winner. Why? Because I was born to be a winner and it feels good. See, I even took that to the next level. So when I had multiple schools, it wasn't because of the kicking and punching, guys. Anybody does that. Yes, we did that with the best of them. However, it was this. They knew. Like I teach now. I ask people, what belt are they? And they'll give a color. No, you're not. You're a future black belt. Because if you begin with the end in mind, then it increases the possibility you may accomplish that goal. Visualization. Yes, visualization. You picture yourself as a black belt. That's what I did. When I joined the school, I went in there, I started doing all my stuff. These kids looked at me, laughing at me. He thinks he's a black belt. This was in the karate class before it started at Tiger Kemp's. And I looked at them, and I didn't say nothing to them because I didn't know them. When you're from the ghetto, you don't talk to people you don't know. So I said to myself, I don't know about you, but I'm a black belt. They just haven't gave it to me yet. That was my attitude. I don't know about you, but I'm a black belt. They just haven't gave it to me yet. Competing in tournaments, I knew I was going to take first place. and grand champion. And let me find out how I did it. So I used to walk around with my hands up. And people saying, oh man, did you win? I said, yeah, I did. But let me find out how I did it. Let me find out how I did it. Yeah, you begin with the end in mind. And I would not make any more apologies for that. Because if my attitude is one that says, listen, I got the attitude of gratitude. I thank God I have God-given gifts to have the inspiration and motivation to do things when most people just drag their feet. You know, some people call me an extremist. Yes, I have been an extremist. I want to take things to the whole other level. I want to push the envelope. I want to test the waters. As an example, you see what I'm wearing? This is a martial arts, what I consider, because it is martial arts. How do I know? I made it. That's the number one. You know, we got martial arts tournaments, and these guys, you know, at the very nicest, they would probably wear a suit or a suit jacket. I'm saying, what the heck? Why the heck is that even used? We should have a rec suit top, comfortable, and still look like what you would consider a, you know, part of martial arts, but you're judging. To picture yourself as a grandmaster one day, that sounds good, but it's not so much picture yourself, it's the daily decrease. In order for you to be able to be leading by example, guys, the daily decrease, like Bruce Lee talked about, is the truth. I decreased 53 pounds from my body accounting. I got rid of excusitis when it came to my training, but I educated myself in the quality of it. This is the danger, guys. A lot of the so-called leaders are just talkers. Talkers, see, making that noise like the dog. As I told my son today, the best way to lead is by example, because what you do speaks so loud I can't hear what you're saying. But people get caught up in the fantasy world. Martial arts is very dangerous in the sense that there are so many people that in their mind, they really believe that they're masters and grandmasters, in the sense that they want people to bow to them as opposed to learning. For example, the pineal gland is in between here and here. How do you develop that? How do you take endorphins and make them actually pop? How do you really increase dopamine? How do you help someone who has Parkinson's, which means the inability to in the brain and making the connection? How do you help them? Well, I have not one, not two, but 3 different protocols that across the board have been proven scientifically by people, doctors, and it's in the medical journals to help people. Every instructor to me has that opportunity to be able to help people solve real solutions. Now, if you're out of shape physically, you might be doing what I was doing, which was training wrong, not training hard. Like I mentioned before, the best wrestlers in the world are the Russians. Which ones in particular? The Dagestan, the ones from Dagestan. What makes them different? They never train to level number 100. They train to about level number 70 or 80, but every single day. So through osmosis, through time, you develop next levels. In sparring, as an example, you have seen the difference between people playing tag and what would be people who actually was fighting while under a so-called sport. And I put a video right there in the bottom. You see one of Alfie Lewis people sweeping and stomping and punching and kicking. You're saying, what the heck? That was just a few months ago, I should say a few years ago, because the rules allow that. They don't allow that here in New York, absolutely. They do not allow that here in the United States. It's become an extend your glove, and I've done it before. Extend your glove, reach out and touch someone, and then they think that's self-defense. A martial arts base is self-defense based, but that doesn't mean that you just start only doing grab my hand and do this, because I've never been, no one's ever grabbed my hand in the fight, you know, but you need to learn how to do that also. So I don't discredit anything. Every form of what you will be doing in martial arts, which includes the forms, the weapons, the self-defense, and yes, the freaking sparring. But people have a tendency to get away from the sparring because, in all honesty, their instructor wasn't a good fighter. Do we even know Yamaguchi could fight? Or Funakoshi? Because I didn't see no damn videos, but I did see a video of Peter Urban sparring against Don Nagel, 1961. And for what it was worth, the one that I did not expect to be throwing kicks and punches like that, wow, that impressed me. Research, guys. The more you investigate, the less you invest. A lot of times people like to talk a good game, but when you really see them, what they are able to do, it may not be impressive, but you're thinking, well, maybe they're holding back. No, 9 out of 10 times, no. They got lied to the same way a lot of people lied to. This is what they said. Once you get to your black belt, that's when you start learning. Well, that's not what happened with most. Once you get to black belt, That's when you start teaching, and when you start teaching, you forget your stuff, and then you get even more out of shape than what you were, and then the people, they just want you to buy degrees. I said it, buy degrees or buy a Hall of Fame. But man, you don't need that crap. Those things are not things that you need as far as I go. And I've been inducted into all types of stuff, but I've never paid one freaking red cent in my entire life. I'm going to say it again. I have never had to pay 1 penny when they so-called inducted me into some awards thing. I'm not that dude. Do you know why? It's just a fact. Because my credibility precedes me, even though it's been damaged or attempted to be damaged by a whole bunch of people who are liars. And they'll lie about you too, guys. This is just the way it is. So your reputation precedes you based on the action and the results that you produce, not the words that you talk. If I'm trying to tell you guys how to increase your flexibility and I can't do the split, and the instructor can't do the split, and nobody can do the split, or they do the split, they did the split way back when, and now they got hip problems, they got back problems, they got knee problems. Should I follow someone when it comes to stretching when they have injuries based on exercises they're doing? Doesn't make any sense. But you know what people do? In the name of a tradition, I'm going to do the same stuff that doesn't work. The same thing comes with sparring. The same thing comes with so many things. The more you investigate, the less you invest. Less you invest means the less time you're going to invest in doing something that doesn't make any sense. You ever wondered why, and I've done this before, why they teach us how to punch with our shoulders square when it makes more sense when you turn your upper body? Because of a tradition? No, because we dropped a bomb on the Japanese who stole martial arts or karate, the China hand, from the Okinawans. And because of that, they were mad at us, so they were teaching us with a shinai, hitting us with a stick while we were getting drunk in the bars, which is crazy. The anti-work is not consistent with what I would consider the holistic approach to martial arts like the Chinese have, at least initially. My point is that you can easily teach someone how to do something wrong. A reverse punch. I'm going to show you something that, again, every one of my students know this, and most people don't. And this is sad. I'll show you what I mean. If you put your punch out like this, guys, and you lift your elbow, most people have the elbow turned. When in reality, your elbow is supposed to be horizontal. See that? Horizontal and consistent. And then your wrist gets flexible. In other words, when you punch, if you notice that your elbow bends this way, there's no backup. The way you're supposed to punch is the elbow bending this way, meaning it's horizontal. What's the difference? The impact is different. And that's a basic thing with us. And the reason I say basic with us is because 99.9% of black belts don't even know that little basic. Well, why didn't your instructor teach you that? He didn't know. Most instructors only know what their instructors taught them, and what their instructors taught them normally was the same thing their instructors taught them, and they say, I've been training for 30 years. Okay, let's think about that. Let's say that the alphabet goes from A to Z, and to get to Z is the highest level, because once you got all those letters, you can really create some poetry, which is the art part. You can do some martial part, meaning the strategic part. So let's say your limitations is based on letters A through H. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. That's it. Your vocabulary is very limited based on having letters just a letter H. So if your instructor doesn't have the split, if your instructor cannot spar well, if your instructor can't demonstrate to you what would be a quality technique based on the results of being able to stop someone, helping you get home safe, if your instructor doesn't know how to motivate, and you're saying, wait a minute, what does that have to do with martial arts? We used to train hardcore back in the days of that nonsense. Bro, let me tell you something right now. The bottom line is this. You are supposed to increase your options to get home safe. And as a martial arts instructor, that's what you're supposed to do. It's all about not learning a foreign language, guys. Don't fall for that crap. Because karate means the way of the China hand. And they were teaching this in Okinawa based on religion of Zen Buddhism. And those islanders gave credit to China. But once they came to mainland Nippon, meaning Japan, there was no way they were going to give credit to a country that Japan conquered not once but twice. My point is that the more you research, the more you know, but more importantly, performance. See, all that stuff sounds good, right? But if you can't perform, then I don't know about you guys, but look at the type of student that I was. I would listen to people and say, that sounds good, but let me see it. Let me see it. That's what I used to think in my mind as a little kid. But my instructor was like a superhero. So when he used to say whatever he said, I couldn't really understand him. He had to demonstrate. Sang Soo Tiger Kim was like a freaking superhero. And this is a fact. Bruce Lee, incredible body, right? June Lee, rest in peace, incredible body. Jack LaLanne, oh my God, incredible body. I show you a picture of Tiger Kim, he makes them look like little kids. Because his body was even better than Jack LaLanne's. How could that be? Isn't it going to make you tight? You're not going to be able to fly through the air with a greater ease? That's a lie. You can increase your levels of flexibility, intelligence, finances, strength, etc. Kaizen is the concept of constant and never-ending improvement. That's the concept of my style that I created. Constant and never-ending improvement. Because I noticed there were some limitations based on the inability to do certain techniques when it came to styles. Styles initially were all a combination of things, and then they became selective. Selective meaning specialist. All of a sudden, it was only throwing. Hapkido was the self-defense that we did while we were doing Mudokong Tang Soo Do, and then they changed the name to it to Taekwondo. My point is still this. They taught us how to throw jabs, how to toss hooks. My instructor was teaching us how to box. We were doing dive rolls and competing against each other, doing judo. Wait a second. And then we were doing the self-defense. They called that Hapkido years after, and it was a mixed type of thing. Every style that, in the beginning, was mixed. Then they started to separate it into specialties. Now Taekwondo doesn't look anything like what we did, especially WTF. They get what the Taekwondo, and even the karate, the sport karate, meaning the World Karate Federation, that looks nothing like what was done just a few years ago, because once politics gets involved, meaning the IOC, International Olympic Committee, then they change what would be the quality of the technique so to make it so-called spectator friendly. So the point still is, guys, is this. It's really simple. We can do better. Now, this top is an example. Again, you see it has the logo right in there. It's embedded inside of it. Why would I do that? Because I said, you know what? Why can't we be professional? Why can't you have your own clothes? Instead of talking about people, talk about ideas and take actions. That's the difference. See, a mature mind talks about things they want to do and they take actions on it. But what happens is this: once you take action, be prepared to get arrows on your back. Because anytime you take things to a whole other level, people are going to be uncomfortable with what it is that you're doing, because it makes them look bad because you are pushing the envelope. This happens at work all the time. There's the new kid. Go, slow down. Don't carry so many boxes. They laugh at him. What? In other words, they stunt people's growth because they do not want to work hard. Work hard. You don't want to work hard. You want to work harder than everybody else and smarter. Because working hard, it's smart. It develops character. It develops a work ethic. You know, those of us who are martial artists, if you listen to Dan Pena is a gentleman who's made more millionaires than anybody when it comes to success conditioning. His whole thing was, I should say, coaching, mentorship. It's not, you do that. It's let's do that. It's not, listen to what I say. It's watch me. Watch me. Watch me and follow the leader. I've been teaching like that for many years, and it really makes a lot of people angry. Yes, it makes them angry because the excuses about, oh yeah, you know, I retired. I used to compete back in the days. And then when you check, how long did they compete for? 5 years? Let's say 10 years. And then for the rest of their life, their reputation from 10 years, which is a short time, because the last 10 years, guys, is 2020. 2020, gone. And 2030, guys, it'll be here real fast. And by the way, little side note warning, literally, 2030, the world changes to whole other levels. Artificial intelligence is already here. Get ready for the Terminator days, guys. It's not being anything else but factual. That's why 5G teaches or has facial recognition, so on and so forth. So yes, I'm a little eccentric because on a daily basis, I make sure that I educate myself all the time from people who have been there, done that. As an example, do you know that in your life, you probably have done about 10% of what you really could have done if you would have kept your focus on your dreams and your goals? Don't make an excuse. Oh yeah, there's the good life. That's why I have a belly. Man, you know how embarrassing it was for me to be pregnant? Meaning, I had this big belly. 53 pounds ago, man. And I was embarrassed, man. I used to see my friends and I was like, damn. So I was trying to dance my way into shape, right? But you cannot exercise yourself out of a bad eating habit. Meaning that you can train as much as you want, and all you're going to do is increase pain in your body, unless you make adjustments accordingly based on 8 specific exercises. But the biggest part of them all, to me, in terms of martial arts, is the injury potential based on the stretching that's done by people who are incompetent. Let me explain. If you can't do the split, why should I follow what you say? Do you need to do the split? No. However, it gives you, by definition, flexibility, which means options. Options, flexibility and options is the key. Again, here I have this referee top. I think this is the way how referees should look. Go to karate tournament, is a rec suit top, meaning that it'll look the same 100 years from now. What? Yeah. It won't shrink, it won't fade, you don't have to iron it, it's comfortable, it breathes, and so on and so forth. Why would this not be the tournament uniforms of today? Because when it comes down to it, I personally, based on my crazy ideas and taking action, cost a lot of money to international corporations, because this crazy Puerto Rican from the Bronx, born in Manhattan, literally had everyone wearing my stuff. Why? Because I am the market. I am the end user that did not like the fact that my pants got stuck on my hip. I created pockets because I forgot, I kept losing stuff. And I wanted something, tradition of the real history of martial arts uniforms, which is that there were the samurai's pajamas. Samurai's pajamas, that's what the freaking gi was. And people don't know that. So when I found that out, I said, wait a second. Maybe we can change these things, because every sport or every physical ability besides martial arts uses material that's functional, material that moves with you. You play basketball, you didn't do that with canvas. But they were trying to tell you that in the tradition, that's the way they did it. Okay, however, let's give credit to the Japanese. All right, the Japanese, what do? They take something and improve upon it. Right? That's what they do. They reverse engineer and improve upon things. So if that's being the case, how come the uniform wasn't changed until recently? Now, yes, there's alternative fabric in uniforms in both Taekwondo and even karate with the lightweight uniforms and so on and so forth. But you know what, guys? The truth of the matter is, whether you want to believe it or not, in 1997, I made my first real easy kicking suit. And the world copied what I did, which didn't bother me. However, they did not get it right. So before you know it, you had the shiny Heine uniforms as an alternative fabric instead of canvas. However, it's not the same thing. And then people still to this very day tell me, oh, you know something? I still have my rec suit when I train with it, but I still wear that uniform and sell it. The one that you can't wash, the one that sticks to your body, the one that rips, the one that doesn't make any sense. But it didn't become popular anymore to wear the rec suit, because the company said, you know what, this is the way we're going to get rid of him. We're going to sponsor the actual tournaments. They're going to sponsor the actual teams, which means they bribe people into wearing faulty uniforms and equipment. And you're thinking, no way in life. That can't happen. An extended glove to the body is a point. Imagine that. A martial arts form is gymnastics today. Imagine that. Guys walking around like they're champions. I'm a 7, 8, 25 times world champion. They never fight. That can't happen. Imagine that. And I'll stop with that. Martial arts has become a farce in many areas. However, it's not just because of being successful, because I had schools in Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan. And without bragging, based on the curriculum, regardless of who taught it, if you stepped into the ring, even when they saw the pass, they were like, holy crap. Why? Because we were always leading by example. We would have students line up on the floor, do the split, pop up, jump and straddle, back down to the split with no hands, jump and straddle, and the race was to get to 10. I had to be the first person doing it. Why? I got to lead from the front, like General Pan, right on the first battleship. People say, wow, that's crazy. No. That's just the way the standards were. Kevin Burleton, who's I believe right there is watching The Jedi, came over to my school to teach. Where was the school? Midtown Manhattan, on Broadway, right across from David Letterman and the Ed Sullivan Theater. How could some crazy Puerto Rican from the Bronx have the audacity to even do something like that? Well, why not? We are all made in God's given image. God gives you the gift of life. What you do with your gift, or I should say your life, is your gift back. Instead of excuses, you take action. And that's the bottom line. Incredible. So sometimes, and this is what my mom just showed me, sometimes people try to sabotage what would be what you're doing because they're evil. So a lady that lives across from the whore who is just a miserable person. And we all have them, guys. Sometimes they're actually relatives. I don't call them family because they're relatives. They have the same last name, but they're not family. Family are people of similar mind. Like Kevin Burleton, Jedi is my brother. My real deal brother. Based on us being on the same, call it frequency, call it vibe, call it martial arts, call it whatever you want. But I know that I have a lot of brothers. And some of my brothers and sisters in the martial arts community and some of my brothers and sisters in the hip-hop community really break my heart at times because they're regurgitating things that just do not produce the proper results, and they're jeopardizing their children's livelihood based on what would be false information. Steaks. No, 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 no. Chicken. Do you know that 95% of chicken when tested has feces? What's feces? Crap. Crap. Imagine that. How could that be? Because that's what they eat. Investigate before you invest. 3 documentaries I'm going to share, and I highly suggest, there's a video down here of a child probably 7 years old at the most, and his father teaching him the difference between what I consider an adult, someone who can take care of responsible things, responsibility, someone who could take care of things. Responsibility, not reactability, responsibility. That child is more of an adult than adult because he learns about what would be finances and the mindset of an entrepreneur. The video's right there in the bottom. If you watch, it's 2 minutes long. And the thing about it, if you look at the video, you're thinking, this guy's probably going to be rapping or singing because he has all these braids and his son has braids too. And we only know anything about somebody, first impressions is visual. So it's important to have the proper posture, to have your things in place properly in order for you to aesthetically look the part at least. But that's not enough. You got to be able to perform what would be the task at hand. And then you have options there. You could be okay, you could be great, or you can be legendary. Now, look at the way it works. If you're legendary, now they pay you, great. If you're great, you know how they pay you, good. If you're good, you know how they pay you, fair. And if you're fair, you're out of a job. Or your business is gone. That's just the way life is, guys. We get paid normally about 10%. That's biblical. We get paid about 10% of what we give. So if you want to earn more in your life, learn how to increase your value. And what's your value? Not intelligence, information from who people who've been there, done that. You can literally stand on the shoulders of giants and reach to levels that other people just can't. So learn how to ask questions from what would be your loved ones who are passing away right now. You know one of the ways to keep them alive, if they have the virus or what have you, to take them mentally to another time. Ask them about when they were young and when they were in love and so on and so forth. It'll create endorphins in their body and all these other drugs to keep us alive, because that's what the body wants to do. Stay alive, staying alive. That's what we're trying to do, right? So my point of this whole thing today is, again, here's a rec suit top that I made for referees, right? Why did I do that? Because I think we deserve to have the level of professionalism. And that's why all these years I never, ever gave up on what I see the future being. You know what the future is? Better than ever. I have a vivid picture because I'm trying to wake people up who know better. So I'm trying to motivate the educated who to do other things. And there's nothing wrong. Do those other things. Come back and also visit us. And actually, we'll cheer you on as you do those other things. So we'll support you. And I want to educate the motivated, because some people really have a lot of passion, but they don't have the knowledge. It takes time to develop those skills. But you can expedite that by having mentors, but not mentors who fell off and talk about the good old times only. Don't tell me, show me. As they said, show me the money. So again, guys, all I'm saying is that you can do better, and you're alive, might as well become legendary. And legendary doesn't mean that you bought an award. Legendary means that people want you around based on the results that you produce. Imagine that. Your reputation precedes you for being not a talker, but an actual doer. Because what you do speaks so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you think anyone else will benefit from this, please share it. Now, for those of you who are watching, I thank you all, and I will respond to everyone. I want to just keep my focus because, to me, as strong as anybody is, we can hold back time. So don't waste your time, because time in life wasn't just a company owned by the same company. It's what goes in tandem. You waste your time, waste your life. So if someone's messing around and wasting your so-called time, see it as them wasting your life. And as strong as you are, as much money you have, that's a limited resource that everyone has. So make the most of it. God bless. AB. See ya. Oh, by the way, I'm looking for the gatekeepers. Us one. Someone has to keep the standards. And that's what we're going to be doing with Wuma. Standards and being the gatekeepers. Us one. I'm going to post the logo that I did for Us One. Because all of 1 + 1 could be 2. Or 1 and 1 could be 11. Synergy is what's going to make things happen, and it'll help you take things to a whole other level. There's so many pioneers and legends that are here, except none of them are here unless you recognize it. So there's a difference between trying to get credit for things you didn't do, but what's even worse is when people have done things and they forget. Don't forget, you are God's greatest gift. Okay, guys, God bless. AB. See ya. Thank you very much.